relationship. Sorry, we're live
No,
now, and I'm doing the thing that I always do, which is talk
no,
while we're
that's
going
fine.
live, and it and it's Dapper hates this so much that that he just mutes me. Um,
I pride myself on being just incredibly laid back. There's no rules here. We just,
fucking
like,
talking.
sometimes we have conversations about serious topics and things, but like I'm not worried about being any more professional than having the, it looks nice. I've got a nice intro. The rest of it will work itself out, I think.
I don't know
So.
how much more professional can you be than a dinosaur? It, it's yeah.
I suppose. Uh, Lil and I host our political show twice a week, and
I've
I mean,
seen it.
yeah, we get kind of in a routine with that. But like, it's you can't really do anything wrong. I mean, I think everybody's aware of certain
Hmm.
behaviors and toxicity that wouldn't be okay. But as long as you're here. Honestly and all that stuff, I don't see. I could care less. It takes a few minutes for people to get here at the beginning anyway, so it's like, okay, go ahead and talk about whatever for a couple minutes, and I don't even intro what's going on for a couple minutes. But
Well, if that's the case, I was going to, because this is well, that's not Dr. Kemp. That is who is that, Lil?
Pixie.
This is Pixie.
Hmm.
Um, one of my Hebrew students is named Pixie. So, no, sorry, Prixie. Her name's Prixie. I got that wrong. Anyways, um, I was saying that this was probably going to be, but you say it's different. I thought maybe this was going to be, a meeting of the minds between the Dr. Kips but I don't know if
She
that's
oh,
she she
happening.
okay.
is currently running around the yard. So
Oh, okay, right, doing
uh,
doing
uh,
important doing important
yes,
dog or things, yeah. Um, so I
yeah.
but I was going to tell you guys, because Lil mentioned that she might have to give her dog Dr. Kip a physics textbook to sleep with for the next little while you're moving. Um,
Hmm.
I and I think you'll appreciate this, Joe. So I grew up a pretty conservative evangelical, and as a result of that, it was heavily discouraged in high school. In the 1980s, when I was in high school, we had the option of doing uh, either if you were in like sort of the upper level of your program, you could either do or you had to do one of chemistry, biology, or physics, one of the
Yeah,
three, right?
yeah.
You could do more if you wanted, I guess. I don't know. I didn't have any interest, but I had to pick a science, and we were very strongly discouraged from doing biology because the evolution
Yeah.
is there, and you can't do that. So
Hmm.
I kind of felt like when I was in high school, my options were chemistry and physics, and there's no fucking way I was memorizing the periodic table. So I took physics, and it probably sucked that I had a terrible physics teacher, but my God, I hated that class so much. Wow.
I
Just
loved it.
So
I
yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I'm just reliving the trauma um of my own hatred. It might have been the thing I hated the most about high school, and I had a
So
terrible experience in high school.
so Lil and I were both taught biology from a book called of pandas and people,
Oh
or
my God.
yeah,
I
a
went to a
very
private
famous
Christian high
name.
school. I
Yeah.
went
Holy
to a
shit.
private Christian high school. So yeah, I didn't learn fuck all about evolution, and
Yeah.
it was barely touched on. My senior year, it was kind of touched on a little bit in the science class I was in, but not much. I literally had to teach myself.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah. So
I
I went. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
I went to a county school, public school, and that was our textbook in probably '98 or so. Uh,
At a
and
county school.
yeah, and it had a chapter on evolution in it that we skipped, and then following that was the chapter on intelligent design, and we went over that one. Uh,
So you didn't even
the
get
chapter on
you didn't even
evolution
get
was completely removed.
you didn't
From
even
mine.
get
It
the
was
straw
completely cut
man
out.
no,
evolution.
our biology teacher used to tout that she had 5 master's degrees, and that whenever we knew more than her and we had 5 master's degrees, we could tell her what part of it to teach and what not. And the
That's wow.
I was an atheist at this time. I was very active in Southern Baptist fundamentalism, and
Wow.
the but I still didn't. I had a lot of questions for her on the intelligent design stuff, just because of dinosaurs
Because it makes no
and
fucking sense.
right, exactly. The like I kind of bought like, okay, God did it, and I believed in Adam and Eve. Like I said, fundamentalism, but that chapter was still crap. It was awful. And it comes up elsewhere in the book too, but yeah, they specifically skipped evolution. I went through biology 1 and 2, and we even did an experiment where we raised fruit flies, which a lot of people have done in high school. And in that, you can actually you go and you look at their collars and all this stuff, and you see evolution in action. And of course, the microevolution is fine, but it was just weird to even do something on evolution. But Herbie's so shitty about not covering it in the book. Yeah,
Wow. So
so
I finally, yeah, I took evolution in university at an evangelical Christian university, and it was taught by actual scientists and biologists who knew what the fuck they were doing.
yeah,
But even I think in the lead up, it was either in the lead up to that or right after, because I had a and it's probably because I'm slower than most people, but I even after I accepted that this is the way things work, I still struggled to like figure it out in my head, right? Um, it was not intuitive to me,
right,
even when
yeah,
it was presented to people by people to me who knew what they were doing. So there was Howard Hughes Medical Institute, I think the HHMI, great organization, great science popularizing organization. Years ago, back before, I mean, I can't say it was before the internet, but it was like in the infancy of the internet, when we were all still on like chat boards and in forums and things like that. They would distribute free of charge to anybody who wanted them a whole library of DVDs. You could just write, like, you could submit a request on
yeah,
their website, and they would mail you whatever, like hundreds of these DVDs. So I picked up a whole bunch, and one of them was oh, I'm sad. Shoot, now I feel terrible that I forgot Ken Miller, um, who's written, you know, one of the industry standard intro biology textbooks, co-written, but
sure,
also was expert witness in the Dover Kitzmiller
Yeah.
trial, and a Catholic, right?
yeah,
An observant Catholic, and he's written another fantastic book. a popular level book just about evolution and his approach
Is it a
as an observant
textbook or
Catholic.
is
And
it just
no,
okay?
it's like you know what, maybe I will take a minute to see if I can look it up because it is yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
I had something similar. I went to Ohio University for my college degree, and the library there, you had access to all kinds of media and stuff like that. And what what actually spurred me into looking into those things was because I was a fundamentalist, and I had watched, of all things, something on the History Channel when they actually had educational things on there, and it was about how we share so much of our DNA with chimps, and that was just for me. That was something like, okay, well, this is something I'm going to have to at least look at, and then whenever I went and looked into that, that's kind of what started me down the road of
Right.
learning about biology and stuff.
Right. Yeah, no. So the oops, the book, I just sent you a link, um Joe. It's called Finding Darwin's God. It's probably like 25 years old at this point, but
All right,
it's really
cool.
really good. Uh yeah, I quite like it. So anyways,
Hmm.
I'll put it in the chat for everybody too, uh, if you want to go check that out, guys. There it is. But yeah, I will look into that. I'm always interested in especially people who not necessarily teaching the subject, but just writing
Hmm.
about experiences within that branch of science, because there's a lot of controversy always there because of the church. So yeah, I'll look into that. But yeah, it was really cool because we had, like, you could, from Ohio's main campus, and I guess you could do it at all the campuses, but um, you could, like, if they had media, you could check it out, and if the library was able to, like, if it was a DVD, they would burn it for you right there, and just you could
oh,
buy it for
nice.
$1. Yeah,
Man, that's
and
awesome.
yeah, they would make you a copy of it, and they have lots of cool stuff like that. And then any kind of, like, journal article or whatever, those were free
Yeah.
to students. And I guess as alumni, I could go there and still get them for free too. But they you could pull any of that up, and they would either print out or send you a bindered copy of it if that was necessary. Just however you wanted the media, you could get it, and that was just extremely helpful having all those resources. I was a
Yeah, no,
computer
that
science major.
sorry, what was that? You were
I
what?
was a computer science major, though.
You're you're an inquisitive person. You're a curious person. That is, I mean, that's I think that's what that my complaint is that there's just too many people in this space, but like just out there that are not curious. And
Well, that's
I
actually the basis of my philosophy towards, like, counter apologetics, right? So
No.
I let the crazy people say the crazy things as much as possible, because I think that that is the thing that may spur some curiosity in somebody that's watching and send them down the same rabbit hole I went down, as far as that goes. So a lot of times I won't interrupt somebody who's like, Kent Hovind going on about some crazy shit. In fact, I'll have him, like, repeat it, because I want people to hear the absurdity. And I don't even think I have to point it out. Just let him say it.
yeah, yeah, a lot of times, right? Just digging their own graves with their ignorance in their ignorance.
Yeah.
It's an excellent way to do it.
Uh,
So
it, it,
yeah,
it it gives me a non
Hmm.
confrontational way, because I mean, I don't care to be as confrontational as is necessary, with especially creationists. But I've just kind of figured out that, like, for the most part, the atheist audience knows the rebuttal to the stupid things they say. So if I'm doing that, I'm just doing it worse than somebody else could do it. So,
Right.
I kind of look at it like, well, you want to attack science, but you believe that it's this, and then let them say that thing, and not even criticize them for it, but let them keep pointing out, and just because for the people who I think are capable of having that curiosity, I think I don't need to sit and have an argument about science. We're not having the same talk whenever we do that. And I think
Right.
having facts and stuff on your side is great, and it's the more you know about it. Hey, that's amazing and a great thing, and I encourage everybody to learn everything they can. But
Absolutely.
yeah, but I don't always think that it's necessary for me to teach science to a creationist, right? Like, it just to me it doesn't feel right, and I'm not saying anything bad about people who do it that way or whatever. But a lot of people think that your primary goal is to show the facts and evidence
I
in the
got her.
conversation. Oh gosh.
There she is.
All right. Pause the rambling here.
Hello, namesake.
Hang on. Oh, hold on. Oh my god, now I'm getting
How old
lost
is
about the
she?
dogs.
Lil?
I don't
Now?
exactly know, actually. I was told
Okay.
she was 2, but she might be a little bit older than that.
When you
She's
got
a
her, she
farm
was
dog.
2, or she's 2 now?
That's what I was told. She's a farm dog, so
Right, but I mean now, does that mean she's 2
now
now,
she would
or?
be 3-ish,
Oh,
maybe
okay.
somewhere around there.
Cool.
Yeah, because I named her. We got her last year, so.
Right. Wow, just a year ago. Holy cow.
Mhm.
So it's my whole I don't know. I've had a very
No, I have all
strange.
3 of them right here.
Aw.
Um,
You're all wanting
Yay.
treats. That's why.
Yes. Yes.
But I finally got
Uh
both of y'all in the same stream, so now I'm happy.
Very good. Me too.
yeah, me too. I got 2 Kips for the price of 1, right?
The funny thing is, she is not the boss. Pixie's the boss.
See, that was like, and yeah, it's the little, she's smaller, right, Pixie?
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
this is maybe typical,
This little one.
and it's like the little dog syndrome. My when my wife and I were still together, like we had 3 dogs. One passed away
Mm.
about 5 months ago, but she's like this. We had this little tiny Manchester miniature fox terrier, Chihuahua mix, like a taco dog, is what they call
Mm-hmm.
them in Southern
Yeah.
California. But yeah, just teeny tiny little thing. But she was in charge. But and as a result, none of the kids liked her like at all, because she would just boss everyone around. And it was funny because like Dagon, he's now approaching the point of grumpy old man. He's like
Mm-hmm.
4.
Mm.
Treats for Dagon, by the way.
Oh yeah, you're right here. I'll yeah. So he's approaching that grumpy old man kind of stage. I'll try and do this while I'm talking. There you are. Okay, buddy.
Let me see.
Kid!
So there he is. Can you see him? There. Here's my
Oh.
buddy. Yeah. So, but he would always, even before that, she would get after him and growl at him and nip at him. Actually caught him on the ears, or the face a couple of times. And he was like incredibly tolerant of that until the moment that he wasn't. And like, she's tiny, he's pretty big. So it was once or twice where he just did this thing where he just went and just like smushed her with his paw, and then looked at her and like bared his teeth and growled. and that would end it almost
Mm-hmm.
always. But yeah, yeah, he's great.
Good. I don't have a dog currently.
No,
Yeah.
dude,
I have 3, so I think I've got both
that
of us
is
covered, Joe.
that is
My last
tragic.
dog, I had a boxer named Bella, and whenever I owned a computer store at the time, and I was at work, and my now ex-wife uh, took her and gave her away to somebody while I was at work.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh, that is the
I'd
worst.
raised her from a puppy, and yeah, she's my ex-wife now, though,
Nice.
for many reasons.
That's why.
Yeah, yeah,
That's enough.
yeah,
Oh wow,
um,
that's awful.
yeah.
I so between the two dogs, I think it's kind of funny because we are probably going to have to sign off on a custody agreement for Dagon, just because he is so popular. But when it comes to the other dog, we're both just kind of like, oh, you want her? I don't want. Do you want her? So,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I had a dog when I was growing up. Too, when I was 4, my parents bought a cocker spaniel, and her name was
Okay.
Daisy. Uh, which I think you have a dog named Daisy, right, Will?
Yes. I also
Yeah.
had a Cocker Spaniel named Daisy when I was a kid.
Oh
Oh
my
wow.
God, Cocker Spaniel's
And
named
she shit
Daisy.
all over my mom.
Oh,
It's like what stories my mom tells. She was dropping me off at preschool, and I really wanted to take the dog with me, so we took the dog like in the car, and she shit all over my mom.
Nice.
My mom never lets me
damn.
forget that.
No, I guess not.
Yeah.
Pixie is being jealous right now. She does not
Cocker
like the fact that
spaniels
Kipp
are
is here.
sometimes assholes, but mine was she was a really good dog, and like my best friend growing up. We shared ice cream and ran around the yard together. She would catch birds and I would break things. And so uh, she got a disease that was common to cocker spaniels and had to be put to sleep when I was 11 years old. And um, it was like losing one of my close friends. Horrible time, but yeah,
Yeah, they're uh, remarkable, remarkable animals.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
In
Dogs
yeah,
are the
and
best.
uh, our oldest dog, my wife was a professional dog trainer for a number of years with a like a service dog
yeah.
nonprofit. So they would train dogs to help people who live with disabilities. And she trained mostly like mobility dogs, helping people in wheelchairs, right? But in the program, one of the success rate for these dogs, like they're part of a breeding program, so and it's like a very large co-op with other organizations around North America and Australia. But so they would breed their own dogs, and they go through like basic training, and after a year of that, then they'd go into advanced training, and then they'd have to do like an additional year of that before getting placed with a client. But over the course of 2 years, the placement rate was like I think about 35% of dogs actually make it all the way through the program. So all the rest of these dogs that they had trained, they also set up another program to place them with people who had special needs, basically, or required, or were lots of times like in need of like trauma what's the word I'm looking for? Like people who have experienced trauma or who have
PTSD.
emotional, yeah, stuff like that, right? So although they do actually train specific PTSD dogs,
Yeah.
so but they a lot of these dogs would then get you'd apply and they go through the list and would just give these dogs away, these fully trained dogs to lots of families with kids with disabilities and behavioral issues. But we ended up that's how we ended up with our oldest dog, because my son also my kids have are all adopted and they have various forms of attachment disorders. So yeah, we ended up with one of them.
Yeah.
She was great, but I mean, like my kid, right? It just this was what helped him break out of his shell a lot. This is what helped him with his crippling at times anxiety and and yeah, yeah, dogs. I just really love
Yeah.
dogs.
Yeah. The VA here locally does a program where they they both have that they place dogs for service needs, but they'll give dogs to some of the vets just that are older and live alone, just as companions, just to have a to have somebody there, and
Yeah,
it's I think programs like that are super cool and do a lot of good for a lot of people. Um,
absolutely.
but so anyway, like you and I, we did a panel the other day on Maya's channel. I'll be over there again today after this stream,
It
actually.
was
But
Right?
awesome.
Yeah.
yeah,
You're just living online today, I see.
it happens that. In fact, last time when I was on Maya's channel, I had done a stream. It ended, and then I came there. Then I've been doing a lot right now, trying to promote the art protests and stuff. Something I care a lot about doing, and I think is different and important for a lot of reasons. And you can care about it politically, or you can care about the science denial and harm to children. And I mean, there's a lot of different reasons to want to speak out against them. Uh, we kind of so I kind of leverage the political reasons to then give a call to action to people to take part in civics,
Hmm.
to go and vote and to stop things like this from happening. So that's kind of my angle on that whole thing. But yeah, the I think that uh, AIG specifically that owns the Ark Encounter, they say a lot of silly things. I mean, science and all. It's like they're like a more expensive version of Ken Hovind, right? And so the thing that we're going to look at it today, and we can talk about whatever. This isn't going to take that long. I kind of, you and I have talked about a number of subjects, whether it be on panels or in chat or whatever, and we, I feel like we get along pretty well and all that. So, the last time you were here, we had a really great talk about how the Bible really supports polytheistic views and stuff like that, and that's a really cool topic. And so I appreciate you coming and talking to me. The thing,
Yeah, for sure.
the thing that is said today, though, it's not one of those like really silly things. At least to me, it's not. It's it has to do with Hebrew translation of the Bible and um, Katal and uh, what's the other one? Kayatal. I'll show you in a minute. But
Yeah.
um, I don't know that what the this guy from AIG is saying is actually incorrect. But just so everyone here understands my point of view on this, whether you're interpreting your fictional book this way or that way, it doesn't. Like it doesn't really matter to me. But at the same time, it's like, did AIG finally get something right? Uh, yeah, AIG has a bag of Kent Hovens. Yeah, in a lot of
Yeah,
ways,
they
that's
are.
true. But we will. Let me just jump
Hey,
up here.
Joe,
Yeah,
before we start the video, can you
yes,
um because I'm a person who has never been to an ARC protest, and will probably not get the opportunity to go, entirely because I live way the fuck out in the middle of nowhere and across a border.
yeah.
So it's hard for me to get most places. But like, how many people did you have there last year? And I'm kind of like, I guess I'm interested to, like, from from the perspective, a boots on the ground perspective. Like, what does that look like when there's, I assume, people coming and going from the park while you guys are protesting out there and
So
giving speeches and things like that. What's that
yeah.
like?
So last year we had about 100 people show up for the protests.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was
Was
my
that?
first time. It was my
Do you
first
think
time
that's
doing it.
more or fewer than the number of people who went through the gates of the park that day? Or
Uh,
is it just one day, or is it a couple
it
days?
was more. That was more than what went into the
That's
park today.
that's awesome.
Yeah. And we can't set up right in front of the gates
Yeah.
because they own the property and then it's just the road. But about not even 100 yards away, there's a spot where the exit off the interstate. You have to go by there to get to the arc. There's no other way there. So every car that went to it had to drive by and see us, and a couple of them stopped and talked to us.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, Secular Rarity made a video of him talking to people that showed up and were like, "Should I take my kids to this and stuff?" And he gave them good
Wow.
information about it and stuff. Yeah. Uh,
That's fantastic.
yeah. So there's last year we had several people spoke. We had planned speakers, and then we kind of just let if people had something they wanted to say, we let them say a few short words or whatever.
People could
Uh,
give their testimonies.
yeah, something like that. We had a lot of great speeches. Ember gave a really amazing speech to kick the thing
Wow.
off. Um, Godless Engineer did an amazing job. I mean, everybody that spoke did really great, but um, Dave Murphy ended up saying a few words. Secular Rarity spoke, but we have so we've got some signs and stuff that are already made. We've got the incest and genocide park sign that's already
Mhm.
ready, and we had like tents set
Mhm.
up and a stage and a sound
All
system.
all paid for by George Soros,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, big
Yes.
atheism. Uh,
Big atheism. Yeah.
Mhm.
no, actually, the really cool thing is that this is 100% crowdfunded and it's a free
Yeah.
event, and there's nothing else like it in the what I would call the convention circuit over the summer. This is where we go and we actually tell these people that we see them and what they're doing and why
Yeah,
we think
man.
it's wrong, and we say it to their face. And to me, that is just amazing that we come together and do that. And the really coolest part of it is last year was my first year organizing anything
Mhm.
event wise, and I had a lot of help from Jess and the Tri-State Freethinkers, and we pulled it off, and it went well. This year, I've learned some lessons from last year, but the really cool thing is that like I'm renting like a big Airbnb, and there'll be like 10 of us staying there, and getting to hang out and tell stories into the night with
Yeah,
each
man.
other is had to be the coolest part of the whole thing. But like we tell the cops and AIG and everything we're coming, and it's they respect what we're doing. Most of the people in Williamstown don't care for the Ark Encounter or Ham. Um,
Mhm.
the local gas station was complaining about the shuttle driver coming down there in between shuttles and drinking in the parking lot. And,
Oh my God.
yeah. One of the local cops stopped and talked to us and told us that he used to work at the Ark Encounter, and that there was a group of homosexuals that came in, and for some kind of event or whatever. I don't know how he knew that, but they knew that this was a group of homosexuals, and they the people that he was working with that like do the tours and stuff were like just saying really awful things and being bigots, and he said, hey guys, like, sure, we don't agree with what they're doing, and I don't think it's right and all this other stuff, but you don't need to act like that. And they reported him to HR, and he was fired that day.
Wow.
Yeah. So they signed faith statements saying that they are not homosexual and won't, they don't, that it's a sin and all this other stuff, and it's just a really messed up place. But we had a lot of signs and stuff made, and then we had the opportunity to make signs, and we went and hung out at Jim and Chrissy Helton, which some people probably know Jim Helton within the community. He used to be the president of American Atheists, and has done a lot of on the ground work in that space, in the activism space, and has been like a mentor to me. So
that's awesome.
But yeah, it's really cool. It's a really cool event. I say cool, it's actually really hot. But the Kentucky,
I'm in Texas. Like it can't be hotter than it is here.
Well, we'll see. It's that the thing with Kentucky isn't it's that we live in a jungle, and I know you have that there too. I'm just saying, like, that's just the thing that makes it hot. I'm not saying it's hotter or anything, but it will surprise you. But it may not be hotter than Texas, but it'll surprise you that it's that hot in Kentucky.
God damn.
Yeah. Like it always surprises people because, like, I live right on the edge of the swamp. I don't live in the middle of the desert. Yeah. I live on the edge of the swamp.
Yeah, and I'm sure you get a lot of that same experience. It's weird because a lot of the weather patterns go through your area up. That's where the jet stream goes, is up towards us. So whenever we get that tropical heat from the south, it's usually coming from Texas. So yeah.
Well, they say we live in a jungle up here too, but we call it a rainforest, and it actually makes things very comfortable almost all the time. It's just we barely ever get to see the sun. That's all.
Yeah. We don't have that problem. But Kentucky's interesting because we get like snow and measured in feet during the winter sometimes, and we have a cold winter and a hot summer, and we get all the seasons. Kentucky has a lot of wildland still that's covered in trees, and a lot of state parks and stuff, and a lot of times, like when you look towards the horizon in Kentucky, you see hills covered with forests. And it's a beautiful place. It really is. Don't talk to the people, and it's amazing. Go ahead. I'm going to say
here it drives Seth absolutely nuts because every time we've had rain, like the last month, it's come with like massive thunderstorms and tornado warnings.
Oh yeah. Now we don't get much of that. Yeah,
we get a ton of tornado warnings a year, so it's just knowing what's dangerous and what's not.
Now, see, I personally live in the Ohio River Valley, so it breaks up a lot of that weather because it funnels down through the valley, and by the time it gets to the eastern side of Kentucky, it breaks up a lot of that. But yeah, what's up, Seth? $2 super chat. Got to get to work. Enjoy the stream, y'all. Thank you, Seth. Good to see you. Have fun at work if you can. But yeah, the art protest is really cool, and leading up to it, I usually burn myself out quite a bit. Just I'm sure people have noticed, like, I've streamed every day in some form or somebody's channel or something leading up to this, and I debate creationists, and Ray Comfort will be here June 3rd.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah,
Are you for real? On your channel?
yeah, yeah,
No,
and
man. That's awesome.
yeah. So I do those things,
I'm
and then
looking
once
forward
the
to that.
art
He
protest
is
is
such a
over,
weird little man. But I'm sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, he is.
I just thought it was a good opportunity, like somebody that I could talk to, that I could use to promote off of. Right, like my goals are beyond talking to Ray Comfort, honestly, but like it'll be an interesting conversation. I think I don't know that Ray's not going to take it and like dishonestly edit,
Oh,
and
just clip the shit out of that and yeah.
but I
But
can do
I
that
don't know.
too.
Sure you
Uh,
can.
but yeah, I'm gonna have some fun with Ray, and I'm gonna bring some stuff up that I've never heard
That's
anybody talk to him
I'm
about.
wow. I am excited about that.
I think it'll be fun. And then we're gonna a couple days after that, we're having a big fundraiser that's going to be on a number of channels. Will be like the big fundraiser. The speakers will be here and all that stuff, and we'll talk and try to raise some dollar bills. And we've got a 4.99 super chat from Kelly's Cherry 937. Thank you so much for the super chat and the smiley face. Good to see you.
The
Thanks for
smiley
coming.
face.
I appreciate it. I really do. But yeah, the a lot of these events that take place, the conventions and stuff, they help a lot of people, and there's a lot of great resources there, and it's a really awesome thing. And I've been invited to not speak, but asked to come and show up at some of these, and so I'm going to go to Rocket City Reason later on
Nice.
this year too. But one of the things with those conventions is like you go and it's more of a networking thing where you
Mm-hmm.
meet other people and get resources, and you hear people speak that you've listened to for however long, and it's a really cool event. You get to meet people and all that, and the art protest has that too, but it's different in the sense of this is like a completely crowd-funded free event thing, and our goals are a little different as far as like
Yeah, right.
we have an awesome weekend. We're going to go see the night before Seth Andrews and No Illusions, the Scathing Atheist, will be speaking in
Oh,
Cincinnati, and we're gonna a bunch of us. I don't know if everyone. I imagine everyone will go to that, but and I'll be there giving out some free merch and stuff, trying to get people to come to the
oh,
art
that's
protest
awesome.
from that. So I look for it to be much
Yeah.
bigger this year.
I'm a I'm a huge No Illusions fan from the God Awful Movies
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
Still one of my go-to favorites. I think I've been listening to it for probably like long before I even started on YouTube. I was listening to that. But no, that's awesome.
yeah. It's really big for us to get Seth Andrews and Noah as our headline speakers for it, and
Yeah.
I know that I haven't interacted with Seth all that much. I've talked to Noah a number of times, and
Mm.
just I think it's very fitting for the event, and I get excited as we get closer, but then once it gets here, like once I show up on site that day, that's when the stress finally like just I just finally chill and just let it all unfold and see how it happens.
Yeah.
And we provide
Yeah.
lunch for everyone and drinks,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, it's a really fun thing where you get to just hang out with a lot of people and take part in an important event. And I hope that the community continues to support and want to help fund.
I
Yeah,
I absolutely think everybody should go if you can. I
yeah.
can't. But if you can, then yeah, you should absolutely go.
Yeah, it's
Um,
really great. And I've got to work with some of these orgs. There's a big disconnect between like content creators and organizations, and I've got to work with the Tri-State Freethinkers specifically on a number of things and talk to them and things they're doing, especially like they're involved in a lot of political stuff right now because of what we have going
Mm-hmm.
on currently. But it's really cool to get to take part of the actual boots on the ground, as you said, doing
yeah,
the thing and to work with both. And I try to encourage them, like, hey, like if you want to have a media presence, also like let me help you.
nice.
And there was some talk of me joining the board of Tri-State Freethinkers, but I live a couple hours from them, and I don't really know how well that would work. So maybe more is just I'm just interested in helping out where I can. I don't care about any position or anything like that. I could give a shit less. Um, and my goal was always to be able to get to be able to travel around to different places and speak at these town halls and things, and go and call out some of the political stuff, and then while I'm there, work with secular groups in the area to either grow or create events or whatever. That's really what I wanted to do, but it's not free. So maybe later we'll see how all this goes. Um, you know,
Nice.
And just in case anybody is wondering, me and Seth were going to be at the ARC protest. We're going to be at NanoCon, and we're going to be at Rocket City.
awesome.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm excited for it. It's going to be a fun summer.
I won't make NanoCon this year. I don't think. At least it's not part of the plan right now. I mean, if depending on how things go between now and then, who knows? It's not that far from me. It's about a 5 hour drive, I think. But you know, we'll see. Going to Rocket City Reason is going to be uh, a job for me to pull off. So that's why I
Hmm.
limited it to the art protest and that, because the art protest, even though it's crowdfunded, it ends up costing me quite a bit too. Uh, the But yeah, I mean, I love that we have people that want to correct bad information, and we have people that even just do any kind of rebuttals or counter apologetics and stuff to some of the what I call harmful things that are spread out there in the name of religion. And
Mm-hmm.
I love to see that, and I love to see the people on the ground doing things too. Um, I wish they could work more together on a lot of things. I think that there's a real opportunity there, and I think it is going that direction. It's just excited to see it coming. I think there's like a new generation of speakers and stuff that are kind of starting to take the place of the Arn Raws and the Matt Dillahunties and all that. And Godless Engineering, KC, and Rocket City Reason is an example of that.
Yeah,
And
right. Oh, that's
yeah,
very good.
and these while we talk about things on here, and it's really great, and it helps a lot of people learn things today. I'm going to learn something today, in fact. But
I guess yeah, we've been jabbering away for quite a while here. So,
yeah,
but that's cool. I like yeah, I just like talking. So
yeah, no, and that's
Yeah.
really
Have you seen Politicality? That's what we
yeah.
do
right.
most of the time.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm great at rambling. I can do it now. All right. I do. Let's see here. I've got it here. Let's go back over here. We'll pull this up real quick because there's only like two terms here, but we'll just watch it. Hold on. I clipped it out, so it's this
Oh,
clip is part of a larger video that Jess and I will be covering Wednesday on Spoiled Ham. But
Oh, nice.
yeah, this particular part of it, though, let's see. There we go. I wasn't prepared to even say anything about because I really
Oh,
don't know. But
this guy looks familiar.
that is
Um,
oh, that's their like head science guy. What's his name?
the head science guy is gonna talk about the Hebrew
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the in the Bible. I
yeah.
see. Okay.
You're gonna get
By the
a famous math guy too's in here.
good.
Mm,
By the way, in case people aren't aware, I actively teach Hebrew. I have a class tomorrow night, and then I have a new course that's starting at the end of the month as well. So, and I've been teaching Hebrew for like 20 years. I told the story recently on I in a video that's just new on my channel. But the very first time I taught Hebrew 20 years ago, I was teaching it was like an emergency Hebrew session that was put together kind of at the last minute because there was a group of international students from Korea at the seminary that was attached to the university where I was teaching. Well, where I was working. I was This was like my first teaching opportunity, but um, and they needed like a summer course, which is like just 10 straight weeks, and in Hebrew. But they're all from Korea, all four of them, and so I was teaching from. I had a textbook that I was teaching from, and they were using like a Korean translation of the Hebrew textbook that I was teaching from. So I was teaching like Hebrew in English, and my Korean students were learning, that, but then using like a Hebrew Korean. It was wild. It was a fucking mess. But
yeah,
anyway,
that's that sounds confusing.
yeah, very much so. But I think they figured it out, though. I'm happy to say.
Yeah. Well,
So, all right.
this will be a layup for you. Here we go.
My third objection is that the Hebrew verbs in Genesis 1 do not open the door for millions of years, as Dr. Lennox claims. Please listen carefully, as we must delve into a little bit of Hebrew here. In his book, 7 Days That Divide the World, Dr. Lennox says that the days of creation were literal, but that there was a long, indefinite period of time, he clearly believes millions of years, between each of those literal days. But in that book, and here in this clip, he also attempts, by reference to Hebrew verbs, to slip in more time, clearly more millions or billions of years, into a supposed time gap between Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, and verse 3, when he says, the 6 days begin. To do so, Dr. Lennox refers to the reasoning and scholarly authority of Dr. C. John Collins, longtime professor of Old Testament at Covenant Theological Seminary in St. Louis. Dr. Collins correctly observes that the first creative act in Genesis 1:1 uses a Hebrew perfect verb tense, a verb form called katal, when the verse says, in the beginning God created, that's a katal verb, the heaven and the earth. Then in verse 2, as Dr. Collins correctly thinks, we have a parenthetical statement about the initial condition of the earth in darkness, when God doesn't create anything new. In verse 3, Dr. Collins correctly observes that God uses a Hebrew imperfect tense verb, a verb form called wayaktol, in describing the second act of creation. It says, and God said, a wayaktol verb, let there be light. Dr. Lennox then asks,
the tense changes to another past tense for the description of the days. Now, what does that mean?
In other words, what is the significance of the change in verb tense from a perfect verb form, katal, to the imperfect verb form, wayaktol? Dr. Lennox quotes Dr. Collins saying,
I quote, "It means that the first statement occurs at an indefinite period before the second."
In this way, Dr. Collins argues, and Dr. Lennox follows, that the Bible does not say when God created the heaven and the earth in Genesis 1:1. And therefore, we can accept whatever.
All right. So that's
Sorry,
the
I
point.
probably should have. Yeah. Okay. This is this is hurting my brain. I mean, a few things, and I think I will just point this out at the outset. I don't know if he's going to say anything more about this, but I mean, if he does, I'll just say it again. But something that I am pretty determined to point out to people when it comes to the text of Genesis 1 verse to the text of Genesis 1 is that these are by definition 6, 7, 24-hour days. The days themselves are defined within the text. The text tells us explicitly, without any sense of obfuscation or ambiguity, how long these days are. And it continues to repeat it over and over again, as if you needed to be reminded of how long these days are. In Genesis chapter 1, when the days are numbered, it says, and I'll just where's the first one here in Genesis chapter 1 verse 5, after God creates the light and then separates the light from the darkness, he says in verse 5, it was evening and then it was morning, day 1, right? And it just repeats that same that same expression throughout the text of Genesis 1 at every point where the days are named and numbered. And like, it's really just a whole bunch of cope from God bless them, the progressive science embracing Christians who are also still beholden to this idea of there being some sort of scientific information within the biblical text, because it's just not fucking there. It's not. So stop trying to make this a thing. I've, when I did learn science in university, really, which is where I feel like I started to gain a strong appreciation for what science is and what it does, and for the wonder of the natural world. But when I first learned about science, learned how to do science, and how to think scientifically, it was unmistakable to me. It was unavoidable to me, as somebody who was at the time immersed in studying the Bible at a critically high level, right? That not only is just there no compatibility, but I mean, it's obviously a disservice to science to attempt to gain scientific information from the text, or even to align scientific thinking within the text. It impoverishes the text itself. I know a lot of people don't care about that, and are just happy to whatever, right? But listen, I don't know if you've heard, but I fucking love the Bible. And in part of that love is also recognizing, what these texts are, where they came from, why they can't on any level, by any stretch of the imagination, be aligned with post Enlightenment scientific thinking. It's just not. It's just not feasible, and it does a disservice to the text itself because it shifts what the authors were trying to do in the first place. And I think we can gain a stronger appreciation for not just how wrong the texts are about science by understanding what the authors were trying to do, but then you can also get a strong sense of who these people were and where they came from and how, you know, I like, thank God. Well, whoops, I probably shouldn't say that here. Thank science,
Yeah.
thank the universe that we are like that we manage to through our own ingenuity and our creativity and our social skills to be where we are today. Yeah. So yes, 24-hour days. It's embedded within the text. And I'll say one more thing about that. The reason why a guy like John Lennox can't worm his way out of this view by suggesting that you can just insert any sort of period of time into those gaps. I think it's all abundantly clear already that the days have been established by the text. But even to reinforce the point, one of the primary goals of the writer of this text is to establish the sacredness of the Sabbath day. On the seventh day, God rested. The seventh day is called Shabbat, which doesn't mean seven. All the other days are numbered 1 through 6. The seventh day does not mean, the Shabbat does not mean seven. It's not the point of the text. The point of the text is to demonstrate that on the seventh day, for the devotees of this ancient Israelite religion, of this form of Yahwism, and then later Judaism, the whole point is that on the seventh day you rest. This makes no sense if you're talking about
Oh yeah.
like this protracted, expanded period of time of millions of years. It it does not function in the theology of the text.
I hadn't thought about it really from that point of view yet. Like as in like the resting on the seventh day only makes sense if this is a labor over the course of a week, right?
Yeah.
The so AIG kind of gets one right.
Yes. Now, oh, sorry. Did you want to say something? Because I can start talking about some of the things that they're fucking up here.
No, go ahead, please.
So there's two other things that he said in the first place, and this just bugs me to no end because sorry, I'm gonna grab a book.
Yeah.
So this is my, and it's not, this is, there's a third edition, and I mean you can tell how old this book is because it says on the cover that it comes with a CD-ROM. But so this is my second edition, introduction to the Hebrew Bible, and this is, I never had the opportunity to teach from this book because this is the textbook for smart kids, and when I taught, I hate to say it, most of my kids were pretty dumb, so I had to use like textbooks for dumb kids when I taught in university, which made things fundamentally more difficult. But this is the industry standard textbook for the Old Testament or the Hebrew Bible by John J. Collins, who is one of the most highly respected, prominent, prolific biblical scholars living today. He's phenomenal. I find myself agreeing with him about just about everything, and you know, he's third edition of the industry standard textbook, and this is just my own personal gripe. John C. Collins is not John J. Collins, but very often I think what happens, and I was actually just reviewing a William Lane Craig video that we may be covering on my show on Friday. But he makes this, and I think it's intentional. Fortunately, this guy is this Terry Mortensen? Is that the name?
No.
Okay.
Give me just a second. I'll look it up while you're.
All right. While you do that, so he actually he was clear to point this out, that this is John C. Collins, not to be confused with the Titanic of biblical studies, John J. Collins. Oh, that's probably bad because I think the Titanic hit an iceberg and sank. But that's not. Just this monumental scholar of biblical studies, John J. Collins, not to be confused, and they always are, and it pisses me off. But I want to point out a couple things. The approach to the text that AIG wants to take, that is very typical of young Earth creationists, but a lot of Christians generally want to take this approach to the text, where these first two verses are like independent clauses, and that's just wrong. We all know the standard English interpretation of Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. We all know this by heart. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, period. In fact, I used to, one of my jobs when I was a PhD student, while still working at an evangelical Christian university, one of my first jobs was as a TA for a philosopher, and this probably is part of my own personal trauma for why I just hate philosophy bro types. I used to TA for a philosopher who taught these introductory courses that every freshman in the university had to take, and every senior in the university had to take. And these were basically just apologetics courses. And he would teach this, and it pissed me off, and it drove me crazy, and I felt like there was nothing I could do about it because I was just a TA. But he would always teach that the first sentence in the Bible was, "In the beginning, God." And that's just fucking nonsense. That is fucking English Bible nonsense, because the first word, the first sentence in the Hebrew Bible is actually in the if this can even be a sentence, but it can't really, because it does require the object. But the text says, "In the beginning God created," because the verb comes first, and you can't separate it from the noun, which is the subject, which is God here. So, but we all know this text. We all know this text as I said it. More and more so, biblical scholars, and especially on the basis of what Hebrew grammarians and philologists have been promoting with regards to this text, more and more we are recognizing that Genesis chapter 1 and verse 2 are actually, the chapter 1 verse 1 is actually a dependent clause on Genesis 1 verse 2. The proper understanding of this is not, the standard translation has always been to take that first word, "in the beginning," as if it's a nominal nominal phrase. It's a noun, "the beginning." This is wrong. And we know it's wrong on the basis of how we see this expression functioning just about everywhere else in the Hebrew text. This is an adverbial phrase, which is an expression of time. And without getting into it, the proper way of translating the first sentence in the Bible, not two sentences, is when God began to create the heavens and the earth, comma, the earth was formless and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep, the Tehom, and the wind of God probably was hovering over the face of the waters. It's fundamental because in this way, it's open-ended, and you'll recognize that a proper interpretation, a proper translation of this text of the Bible demonstrates that there was something there in the mind of this writer before God even started. There is no creation ex nihilo. There is no beginning. You cannot tie this text back to the Big Bang. You cannot tie this text back to, this idea that God even created everything. There's something there already.
Yeah.
So, and then finally, the mistake that was made here in the transition from Genesis, he said, I think it was from he said there's a katal verb in Genesis 1 verse 1. This is the other term, the term that I use for this verb in my classes is that this is a perfect verb. In Hebrew, there's no actual tense. We say there's aspect. So in Hebrew, every verb is either completed action or incomplete action. In English and in a lot of other languages, you have past tense, present tense, and future tense. Within Hebrew, you have things that have already happened, and then you have things that are, and it's the same thing, either in the process of happening or will happen in the future. It's aspect. It's really complicated and it's hard to explain, but that's kind of how the language works. So this first verb, the katal verb, is a perfect verb, meaning this is a completed action. This is something that has already happened. When God began creating the heavens and the earth, that's something that happened in the definite past, as explained. Then he says that the shift to the next verb is, he said it's a vayiktol, which is wrong. The next verb is hayata, which is actually a yiktol verb or an imperfect verb, which would then be an incomplete action. So something or sorry, no, no, I'm misreading that. That is also a katal verb. And then where's he makes a point of pointing out what the vayiktol verb, which would be, the next verb then is in verse 3, and God said, let there be light. So he made the mistake of saying that this is like a future verb or an ongoing verb, and that's just wrong. And it's probably because he doesn't understand how the language works. This is the Hebrew does this other funny thing in in its narrative texts, right? The way the verbs work, you've got these past tense verbs, these completed action verbs called the katal verbs. You've got this other verb form called the vayiktol verb, where it's like an imperfect or a future verb, but then it's got like the word and attached to it, and every single time that happens, it's weird, and it doesn't make any sense until you take Hebrew and you see how this works, but it inverts it. So it then switches and becomes like another past tense verb. But the whole point of it is to basically keep the narrative flow going and to provide a sequential perspective to the action taking place within the text. And now I feel like I've said a whole lot, and a lot of people are going, "I didn't understand most of anything," but I'm sorry. It's
Well, no, that was wonderful. It was very in depth about what we're looking at here, and
okay.
that the translation that we're given in like the King James Bible,
Yeah.
it tells me that it's actually pretty close to the fundamentalists' position. That the Hebrew, at least in words, matches that their view on it. The He gives a couple of other examples of Katal and why Katal is what he calls it, uh, or why Atal, and
Is that coming up?
yeah, yeah, it's right
Okay.
now.
All right.
But I wanted to say that I think that first of all, you mentioned earlier about loving the Bible, and I think that the Bible has such an extreme historical and cultural importance because of the impact that it's had on cultures and wars and the shaping of Europe and all those things. So
I'm gonna have to change your mic,
You're
Joe.
talking my language,
yeah,
Joe.
um,
I haven't. Part of my urgency in making people excited about the text is just this, right?
yeah,
Like it or not, the
Hmm.
Bible is the most influential book on the
Yeah.
Western world
yeah,
in every one of the Romance languages and the
Yep.
other
yeah,
European languages. It's unavoidable. So the best thing that we can do for ourselves is like fucking understand it.
yeah, exactly.
It
Like
is incumbent on us to understand what this text is about.
if I go and sit down and challenge an apologist about their theology, and I don't have any understanding of the book itself, how can I really be confident in that argument? And I think if even for atheists who wish to like talk about the Bible, and a lot of us do, a lot of atheists know the Bible very, very well. Um, I
Yep.
think it's I think it's important to be able to understand where these arguments are coming from, and many times, like Ray Comfort, for example, does 10 scientific facts found in the Bible, where he completely butchers uh, what the Bible means
Hmm.
and takes things that are meant to be like almost like poetry words and stuff, and twists them to his needs. And I had to actually look up. Hebrew translations on some of those things to see what exactly they were talking about and go get an explanation from some commentary on it, And so yeah, this is really valuable to understand that and I think the logic fits it too. What you said about the seventh day and all that. So
Yep.
all that's really helpful. Do you want to look at some of the other examples
I
he
am.
gives?
I am eager. I'm eager to continue to hear what he has to say about this. But I'll just one more thing. Just my general impression of what's happening here is, and this happens a lot. I used to sit through church services where this happened constantly. And then after I became, like a scholar and somebody who taught courses in university, would sit there and facepalm my way through pastors' sermon who do the same thing constantly. But I think what's happening here is he's marshaling the language as a means to convey the sense that he's providing some sort of level of sophistication to the text on almost like an esoteric level that you could never imagine or understand unless you actually know the language. And most of the time, that's just bullshit.
Yeah,
Most of the time, when you're evaluating the nuances between the katal and the vayiktal verb, it's not, there's nothing special there. Nothing. It's not providing some deep insight into, the it just
that's the argument he
it
makes
is
actually.
it is a veneer. It is a veneer of authority, and he's lying to you. Not in so many words. He's telling you the truth about, basically about how the language functions and what it says. But he's lying to you through the implications of what that means. Most of the time, it's pretty innocuous. You
Yeah.
don't make a big deal out of these sorts of things, or at least not to this extent, right?
Yeah. Well, he gives a really good example of conception to make that point here.
All right.
Let's see.
Whatever the scientific majority says about the age of the creation.
By the way, you were right. This is Dr. Terry Mortensen.
I thought so.
Okay. Yeah. I thought this was Andrew Snelling at first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Terry Mortensen, by the way. Sorry, I just have to. I just because I'm so easily distractible and I like to talk a lot. But when I was still teaching at Trinity Western University, which was a school I taught a lot at, Terry Mortensen was actually invited onto campus by a donor and gave a lecture in one of the auditoriums, like an off, like not a class lecture, but like an off school event that one of the donors wanted to happen. Within the religions department where I was working, everybody was very upset about this. Just because, AIG's absolute bullshit, right? And we're serious biblical scholars and historians and scholars of religion, and this is just completely counterproductive to everything that we're trying to do. So I was sitting with one of my friends and one of my former mentors there, talking about this, and he starts laughing at me because he's like he was driving into campus that day, and there was a guy with like a placard standing outside of the university with the sign. He was doing like the opposite ARC protest, Joe, where he was protesting our university because we weren't teaching young Earth creationism.
That's what this video is about.
Yeah. But the funny thing is on the sign it said denial. It said something about denial of Genesis, and my friend started laughing his head off, and I'm like, "What's so funny?" And he says, "When I was driving in this morning, my wife was on the phone with me because we were having some issues with our extended medical and dental stuff." He said, and I told her as I drove past this guy into the into the parking lot. He's like, "Oh, honey, maybe you should come here because there's a guy standing outside protesting the dental plan because he read denial on the sign as dental." So
That's great.
it was funny. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So this video is so we covered last week Ken Ham criticizing major religious universities that don't teach his version of creationism. This is the video from AIG that continues that, but they use a lot of John Lennox here. It's mostly him arguing about. But yeah, Ken Ham calls out several universities by name for not teaching it the way he thinks they should, which was completely ridiculous. But
yes,
yeah, but yeah, and I guess Ken Ham directed them to make this video because it's a carry on of that. But yeah, let's see here.
All right.
Dr. Collins puts a time period of unknown length into Genesis 1, verse 1. And then, according to him, verse 3 begins the description of God's 6 so-called analogical days, which Dr. Collins says are like our days in some undefined way. But he never says how long those so-called analogical days are. It is significant to note in the two very influential popular level books, Science and Faith and Reading Genesis Well, where Dr. Collins makes this point about verbs and a time gap in Genesis 1, verses 1 to 3, he never discusses a single other Bible passage to prove his assertion that Genesis 1:1, with a perfect tense katal verb, describes events in the distant past, clearly he thinks billions of years ago, that provide background to the 6 so-called analogical days beginning in Genesis 1, verse 3, using the imperfect wayaktol verb. He simply
That's not so.
asserts
Again,
the
he said it
existence
again.
of this
Just pause
time
it for a
gap
second.
on his own.
He said it again. The vayaktol imperfect verb is wrong. The vayaktol is an inverted imperfect, which then makes it perfect. So, that's just dumb. I doubt that C. John Collins made that mistake. I think this is Terry Mortensen just failing to understand how the language works and the argument that he's actually making. But I will point out that I think it's a dumb argument for C. John Collins to make in the first place, because as I suggested, this is just narration of going from the point of start and then narrating the sequence of events that follow, which are all clearly defined as 24-hour days that start in the evening, as the Hebrew Jewish day does, and ends in the evening of the next day following the morning, right?
I mean, to me, it makes sense as far as like just even in English grammar that you use like a non-specific time to point towards a
Yes.
specific time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's really stupid.
Yeah.
It's
that's why I didn't understand this at all. I was like, what? Why does this even matter?
so it is John Collins wrote two whole books about that, which just look like I've never seen them, never read them before. I never will, because it's just a whole bunch of cope.
Yeah.
It's the cope of feeling the necessity of marrying the text to the science in some way of still trying to preserve the respectability of the science. So they're doing the same thing that Answers in Genesis is doing, except that Genesis is determined to just, turn science into whatever the fuck we want it to be, right?
Yeah.
So
they're both using their personal views on science to post hoc rationalize the Bible in Hebrew.
in different ways, but same result.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he gives a couple more examples here. We'll take a look and see what.
All right. Sure.
Own scholarly authority. But here are a few historical narrative passages that use the perfect verb form, katal, followed by the imperfect verb form, wayaktol, to show that Dr. Collins' assertion about the opening verses of Genesis 1 is false. Consider Genesis 4:1. It reads, "Now Adam knew," a katal verb, "Eve his wife, and she conceived," a wayaktol verb, "and bore," a wayaktol verb, "Cain, and said," a wayaktol verb, "I have gotten a man with the help of the Lord." There is no time gap between the katal verb event, knew, in other words, he had sexual intimacy with Eve, and the wayaktol verb event, conceived. Those events happened essentially at the same time. And there's no time gap of any significance, seconds or minutes at most, between Eve giving birth to Cain and Eve making the statement at his birth. But obviously, 9 months did transpire between the two wayaktol verbal events, conceived and bore. Or consider Ezra 1, verse 1. It reads, "In the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up," a katal verb, the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, so that he made, a wayaktol verb, a proclamation throughout all his kingdom and also put it in writing. There's no time gap between the katal verbal event, stirred up, and the wayaktol verbal event, made. Cyrus was stirred up and made the proclamation essentially at the same moment. Finally, consider Daniel 1, verse 1. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, a katal verb, to Jerusalem and besieged it, a wayaktol verb. There's no time gap between the katal verbal event, came, and the wayaktol verbal event, besieged. They happened the same day. Dr. Collins
hold on.
seemingly...
Can you go back to the Daniel 1 passage for a little bit,
Sure.
for just a sec, because I just want to double check something here. So far, he has spoken. I mean, he's right about all of this, right?
Yeah.
And that's great. I mean, except for the fact that he continues, he continues to call the vayaktol verb an imperfect, which it's not. So, or at least that's not all it is. But anyways, so in the 3rd year of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem. Yeah, okay. Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm just double checking to make sure I got that all right. Cool. All right. So, yes. I'd say it's yeah, I would agree with him about this. I would agree with him over C. John Collins over this. I would agree with him over John Lennox about this. But in my mind again, and I'll just sort of return to this. It just this also creates bigger this creates bigger problems or different problems for you when approaching the text of Genesis 1, verse 1. So
Yeah.
we can You want to continue?
Yeah. Well, that's
Or is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So no, go ahead, Joe.
He so yeah, right here. He there's like
insert
27.
billions of years into verse 1 of Genesis 1 is wrong.
Right, which is dumb.
And Dr. Lennox is wrong to promote Dr. Collins' false argument. But there are more reasons to reject.
All right. That's all on that
Okay.
side. Yeah.
All right. So I wanted to say something because he brings it up a couple of times, and this is something too that I hear on a regular basis from not just creationists, but not just creationists, but a lot of Christian apologists, and that's this idea about the special distinction of Hebrew narrative. So the fact that, and here's the thing, like we all know, you guys know, because you're curious people, and at least one of you has read my book, but you know that
I got it out.
I'm not picking on you, Joe. You know that there are other older ancient Near Eastern creation stories that are informing the stories in Genesis 1 and Genesis chapter 2. And you also know that these are separate stories, the creation story in Genesis 1 and the creation story in Genesis 2 and 3, which are fundamentally contradictory on several points. So you're both aware of this. The old texts that these stories draw from are like the Enuma Elish, which is like the Babylonian creation epic, which is a very, very, very popular text that was read by the Babylonians on the New Year's festival every year. The Epic of Gilgamesh, which is an extremely old story, that some have said that it's the like it's the first epic, like it's the first great story ever written down. It's many thousands of years old. But this is another one of these stories that is clearly informing what's happening in the first few chapters of Genesis, as well as some other mythic texts, like a really weird Sumerian creation story called Enki and Ninursag. Have either of you guys ever heard of this one?
Uh-huh.
I have, yes.
Oh, okay. So you know this weird story. This is the super weird story about how Enki just jacks off all the time and ejaculates into the ground
Yeah.
to create rivers and plants. So that's fun. But and then there's another really interesting story called Adapa and the South Wind, which is also very, very old, but is informing these stories in Genesis chapter 1 through 3. But all of these very old texts have something in common that the stories in Genesis do not, and that's that they are all constructed, as virtually all literature, literally, in this very early period, in terms of how these texts were all constructed in these poetical structures. They're poems. It's verse.
Yes.
And what's really significant about, not like the Genesis stories, but honestly a lot of the texts of the Hebrew Bible, and there's been books written about this feature, is that these are creation stories that are constructed within this prosaic format. It's telling a story in the ways that we have been, taught to tell stories and to write stories.
Yes.
It's there. People will often say that Genesis chapter 1 is poetry, which is not quite right. I would say that it exhibits like a liturgical structure, but it's very definitely prosaic. It's narration. What a lot of Christian apologists will do with this information is they will latch onto that feature and use it as a means to suggest that the Hebrew writers at least understood these texts to be functionally history that was not different in any respect from later texts that virtually everybody does agree is historical stuff that you encounter when you finally get to the books of Kings, right, or the books of
Yeah.
Chronicles, things like that. So, and from the perspective of language, and from the perspective of I guess style, this is true, but I really challenge how much we can draw from just that feature in terms of sorting out how that affected the writer's understanding of the reality of these events. You could make the argument that this even goes in the opposite direction. It's possible that because this essentially became a pretty distinctive form of Hebrew writing, but this could be, because of that, this could then turn some of these later texts that a lot of people want to latch on to as much more so-called bedrock history, that could kind of turn these on their head in the opposite direction to introduce a lot of additional mythology into their thinking about things that were much more confident actually happened. And I kind of like to I like to put that out there, just because I think it's a bad argument. It's a bad way of making your point that this is stuff that actually happened, because or at least they thought it actually happened because of the way they write it. No, it's just not. You know, not really. It's not really that way. So
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I think that yeah, you see a lot of that type of stuff in the Old Testament where it's like, especially whenever it gets into describing attributes and powers of God Himself, like they'll use something that appears to be like a poetic line, but it when you talk about it's influenced by these other texts, sometimes when you see those lines, you'll get a line that looks like poetry because it was actually lifted from some other thing that was written in verse form. And so then, like that was
Yes.
the big bitch I had with uh, Ray Comfort's scientific facts was like you're taking things that are meant to describe power in a romantical way. I don't even know if that's the right word. In a romantic way, and
Yeah. Yes. So romantic.
you're taking it and then trying to say that it's science in that way. And yeah, so cool. Uh, Great explanation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I like this is the the reason this is just so ad hoc is because, like I said, I was just listening to a William Lane Craig an appearance he did on Sean McDowell's podcast a couple of years ago. I was just listening to this today where he tries to make this point, but also operating like he tries to make this point that there's an obvious shift at the end of Genesis chapter 11 and the beginning of Genesis chapter 12. So he says there's this obvious shift after the story of the Tower of Babel and then the narrative starting with Abraham in Genesis chapter 12, and he says, and this is sort of the point of demarcation where in his mind real history begins, but everything prior to that, we even have a term for this, and scholars are still focused on a lot of this literature just because it seems to be more clearly grounded in like a more international collection of texts, but
Yeah.
we call it the primeval history. But there, if you're approaching the text simply, strictly from from a literary perspective, or from a syntactical or a grammatical perspective, no, there is no shift, none whatsoever. It just continues because that's the way this writer is telling this story. What William Glenn Craig is inventing this shift in his head because he feels like he has to. Because in his mind, there is a shift from like talking animals and uh, you know, swords, flaming swords in front of gardens and things like this, to Abraham, the sojourner who wanders around. He sees this because it's in his mind. There's a shift from what looks like pure fantasy into something that's much more historical, right? Which is just because he's selecting when he's reading. You guys have read the Bible enough to know that there's plenty of fantastic bullshit that happens
Yeah.
in all the stories of Genesis and Exodus and Numbers
Well,
and Deuteronomy,
so my
right? Like it's just
understanding, and correct me if I'm completely wrong about this, please, but my understanding is like how the writers, how people learn to write in story form was to take either an existing story or some existing text and then expand on it and exaggerate or I don't know what word you would use there really, but to expand that into another story or to use it as the framework for a story and build off of it. And at the time that they were writing these things, that was kind of the way that they were learning to do it.
Mhm.
Is that right?
yeah, that is essentially correct. And it's something like it's not uh, people. I get a little put out by the thought that this is somehow duplicitous or invalid.
Oh no.
Oh. Well, there's the other Dr. Kipp.
Well, we'll have to replace him. It seems like he cut straight off there. There must have been some kind of dropped internet
Power
or something
outage
like
or
that.
something, yeah.
Yeah. What a
But if you don't
fascinating
have it,
conversation.
go get his book. It's fucking awesome. I have read this thing more times than I care to admit.
Oh
Oh,
my
hi.
god.
Yeah. See, post-it notes all over the place.
Look at that, right? I mean, my copy doesn't even do that. I have no. Oh, oopsies.
If I'm gonna loan this out, I'm gonna have to get another copy because I've got little notes all in the margins too.
I agree. You probably are going to have to get another copy. But most people should buy multiple copies.
Well, I do have this one, and I do have the audiobook too, which he narrated the audiobook, and it's so good.
Thank you.
The
Now,
dramatic readings are awesome.
generally, whenever I promote a book here, I've read it before beforehand, and I have not read this yet. I've know little about it actually, but I will definitely check it out.
It
You
takes
need
a
to get it.
long
It's so
time
good.
Yeah.
both ways. It takes a long time to either read it or to listen to it too. It's too big.
The-
Honestly,
I was
I
about to say,
I got excited.
I read super fast, so
I don't know. I mean, I think that I agree a lot with your perspective, and I like the way that you get there a lot of times when you explain it, and you do an awesome job of explaining it. I imagine that background teaching comes into play there. So, yeah, I imagine I will enjoy it. I will check it out, though. I promise I will. I will.
Appreciate it.
Uh,
Uh,
I have
do
read.
you do audiobooks, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me hook you up because I still have a bunch that I can give away. So
Awesome.
I'd be happy to send you a copy. So
Yeah, I've had several authors over the last couple years come on where I've read their books and discuss it a little bit, and sometimes give them away to people. Like buy a couple books and give them to people in the chat, because of all the like giveaway things I could do, I think giving away books is one of the coolest.
great. It's great.
One of the first things we did on this channel, like major things, was, and I've got a signed copy of it here, of Dave Warnock's book, Childish Things, because he was needing to raise some money to get an in-home nurse, and so we were promoting his Patreon, and in doing so, we gave away some of his books and had him make little personalized videos to Ember got
awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
I love doing that.
That's
Books are where it's at. Yeah. And I've given away lots of audiobooks. Deviant Outcast has been waiting on me to send her a book, but the complexity of sending it to Sweden I've been like, well, can you just order it like there, and I'll make like, can I like give you a gift card and you just do it yourself? Because I think that's going to be easier than trying to ship it. And probably
God damn Deviant, stop being
Yeah.
Swedish.
Seth is gonna have to wait another month. He's gonna borrow my copy if he can read it with all my notes in it.
Nice.
Sweet.
I look
Wow.
forward to it. I
I'm
really enjoy
flattered.
those things.
I appreciate it so much.
This is honestly, I kid you not, like I read a lot. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm a historian, so I read a lot of history and nonfiction. This is honestly the best book I've read in the last 10 years. It really is.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
If you ever can make it to the art protest, bring some books, and we have people do that there.
Well, maybe next year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe and hopefully one day, because it's not like I said. It's not like I would love to be able to attend So I'd love to. I mean, I've met so many amazing people in this
Yeah,
space.
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
One of my favorite things to do is to make those make those acquaintances in real life. So I've had the opportunity to meet Dr. Josh in the flesh, and Aaron, Dr. Aaron Adair, and Marin from Misinterpretations,
Yeah,
and like Vish and I met online, and have also had the opportunity to meet in the meat space, as she calls it. So,
yeah.
and it's one of the things. It's just honestly, it's one of my favorite things to do
Me too,
is
for sure.
to, and because I don't have any friends, it's useful for me because it feels like I could use more than zero in real
Right.
life friends. So
Sorry.
there you go.
Yeah. So like that's been kind of my thing is that, and I know that Lil experiences this, and you probably do too, Kip. But like being in an area wherever you are, and you're surrounded by Christians and such, and so you kind of feel isolated. And whenever you get a
Mhm.
chance to actually meet up with people from this community and stuff, it is just an awesome
Mm-hmm.
experience to get to sit down and talk
Yeah.
to them, and uh, people that get it, or not get it, get you. I'll say the
Yeah.
Detroit Atheist Queen sent us a $5 super chat. Three awesome
Woohoo.
people. What does that say?
One
Dog rate
one
Kip.
doctorate. Doctorate.
Oh, dog
Doctorate.
doggerate. Yeah,
Dogger Kip, same screen.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Did something happen to my connection at one point there?
Yeah.
yeah. You just cut out
Oh,
instantly, and
really? Well,
yeah,
that's
Yeah.
weird. Wow, how the hell did that happen? Wow. But I'm well, clearly I'm back now. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we replaced you.
with okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
we
Mm-hmm.
we had a backup ready, just in case that happened.
Who can do this? Who can do this at least as well as I ever could? So I defer to you, um, Dr. Kip.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The and thank you, Kelly, for the super chat. Kelly's one of the people that came to the last art protest. Got to meet
Yeah.
her,
Yeah.
and yeah, but I think that uh, next year, if you're interested, though, let me know. Like, if you can get away to do it, like if you can get away, a away away from your life to do it, uh, we can make it happen.
All
Uh,
right.
yeah,
Well, yeah. There's a good possibility that that could happen next year. So
yeah,
we'll stay in touch about that.
sure, sure. Uh,
Absolutely.
but you know, I think that I love hearing your explanations on stuff like this, and I've heard you speak, of course, on Maya's channel a number of times, and stuff on your channel, of course, and seen several across the YouTube's different interviews and things that you've taken
Mm-hmm.
part in, and all that, and you just have an excellent way of explaining things, and I think that that kind of secular view makes it easier to digest what it is you're criticizing, because you don't really bring that
Mm-hmm.
into it, but it exists nonetheless. The Whenever you're talking about text, of course, and I think that we get caught up a lot worrying about like what the theology is in the text rather than what was going on at the
Mm-hmm.
time,
Yeah.
what the culture behind the text is, and the impact it had at that time, not just now. We worry about what it impacts now, and if you go back and look at the impact of it then, I think you find out a lot of important things there too. So yeah,
Well, thanks so
I
much, Joe. I
completely agree with
appreciate
that.
it. Wow.
yeah. I appreciate you taking the time to come talk to me. I mean, like,
Nice. Oh
Yeah.
God.
I know you're a busy fella.
Yeah. I mean, I love talking. I love talking about things that I love, and I really like your show. So I had
Well,
fun
thank you.
here the last time I was here. So
Mhm.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I had been kind of pondering the whole polytheistic thing the last time we spoke, and I kind of figured that from what I had heard from you and things that uh, you would you were kind of like interested in having that conversation anyway. So yeah, it was a really cool talk, and
yeah.
my favorite talks are where I can learn something, and I know fuck all about Hebrew. Other than like whenever I've had to fact check somebody and look it up to make sure that I'm understanding the point they're trying to make.
When I made a community post about your show today, I might have suggested that you know a special form of like special Kentucky dialect of Hebrew. I might have said that, but
Well, that's possible. We do some of that here. I try to purposely pronounce my words clearly when I'm on here because I know sometimes, especially when I get worked up, I get in all the redneck talking and starts all drawn together like that, and you don't really know what I'm saying. But
The
that's
funny thing is,
awesome.
I have no problem understanding that whatsoever.
oh no, I don't imagine so.
Wow.
Pull out my boomhauer, I'll go thing over there.
Yeah, like from what I've heard, from what people have told me, like I don't have that much of an accent. My son's accent is so damn thick. There's
Oh,
no question where he's from.
what?
Like you can pick out the region of Texas he's from. His accent is so thick.
Yeah, a lot of
Oh,
places are like that though. You can tell like what block somebody's from. Sometimes the if you listen to like Robin and I talk, Robin is way more
it's pretty. Yeah, Robin's accent's
twangy
pretty.
than I am.
Yeah.
But even my girlfriend, I mean, we're both from the same area, went to the same school. Uh, she sounds far more country than I do. But it's just,
Wow.
and I'm pretty bad, so. But and I don't, I don't take. I take the information and the history and the facts very seriously when we're discussing those things, but I don't get
Mm-hmm.
on here and take myself that seriously. Like I'm just, I feel like I'm,
Yeah, God,
Mm-hmm.
I feel the same way actually, but
yeah, I feel like I'm very thankful to be able to talk to people that understand this and to have a community that's allowed me to interview so many great people about so many
Mm-hmm.
topics and stuff. And so I like to have these conversations just to share them with those people. And the best way for me to do that is just be me
Mm-hmm.
and do it. So
absolutely.
yeah, I have fun with it sometimes. Sometimes it's irritating as hell. Here lately, things have been, a mess. But
Well,
uh,
that's another. Yeah,
yeah, we're not
that's
going there.
another
Uh,
conversation.
yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, we're at the 2 hour mark. Go ahead and land this plane, and yeah,
Go get the
Doctor
book.
Kipp's book. Here, let's put it up there. Hold on, Lil, hold it up. Oh, come on, work right.
so there is and it's available in all formats. You can get a hardcover, a paperback, an ebook, or the audiobook. And I narrated
It's a thick
the
one too.
audio. It's yes, the audiobook is almost 24 hours. It's 20 minutes
Mm-hmm.
shy of 24 hours, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's and I narrated it myself, and it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I'm not
I
kidding.
bet. I bet.
I remember we were constantly asking you when it was going to be out.
Oh yeah, right. Because I'm like, yeah, audiobook. I'll have this knocked out in 3 weeks.
No,
God
it did come
damn.
out Christmas Eve though. That was cool. That was my Christmas. That was my Christmas present to
Yeah.
myself. I'm just like, I'm getting this.
Nice.
Uh, Maya came to take a shot at you. You don't have to thank Dr. Kipp. He loves
Listen,
talking about himself.
she's not.
Hmm.
She's not wrong.
That's what we
Yeah.
needed here today, though. I mean, that's what I
Oh
wanted to
yeah.
happen. Even though you didn't talk much about yourself today, actually, but I don't think I think it's funny. You and Maya have a good rapport. And I'll be over there here shortly doing a
He's
Q
got
and
to
A.
stop
I
cheating at bingo, though. Stop cheating at bingo.
I am not cheating at bingo. I am no. Listen, Maya. I checked with Maya, and she said she has no problem with how many cards I want. I have cheated at bingo before, but I don't cheat at bingo. But and it's getting harder to even do it properly because Holly keeps uncovering all my squares, which is I feels rude, honestly. But yeah,
So I'll be over at Maya's in 2 hours, not an hour.
me too.
Uh, yeah,
I mean, to watch
yeah,
and listen.
yeah.
Mhm.
We're going to talk about some of the art stuff. Uh, but yeah. Anyway, great stuff today, and thanks for breaking that down. We will.
Yeah, it was my
Jess and
pleasure.
I will do a video Wednesday where I will call back to this when we get to number 3, which is what
All
that was.
right.
And now I'll be able to do it with some confidence that I understand that they're wasting our time.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm excited to check that out too.
yeah, we have a lot of fun with that show, and again, it's just leading up to this arc thing. I've get into covering AIG and Ken Ham and all that stuff because it's relevant. But yeah, all right. So, anything else you want to talk about, Doctor Kipp, where they can find you and stuff you got going on?
Yeah, I'm easy to find. My YouTube channel is my name, and it's not actually Dr. Kill, parser of verbs. It's Kip Davis. So it's my name. I do 2 shows every week on Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. I do a show where I sit down with a friend and read Hebrew for an hour, and we translate and we parse verbs and do nerdy shit like that. That's mostly like a public service show for people who are learning the language. But to my eternal astonishment, there's a whole bunch of people who watch that show who don't understand the language, and
I am one of
you
those.
know I absolutely. I mean, if you guys, if I'm happy for you to watch. I think it's fun and insightful, even if you don't understand what's going on half the time. And then on every Friday at 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific, I do a stream with my very talented co-host Vishanti, and we usually go for about 2 or 2.5 hours. And then every second Saturday, so not this Saturday, but then we just did one. Um, and this is the show every second Saturday at 10 o'clock Eastern, p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. I do a show called Budget Scripture Saturday, which emerged because Maya was bored on a Saturday night, and she was also tired of being pestered by weasels, and
Oh,
chose to solve two problems at the same time by insisting that I go live. So I did, and it's just it's me, and it's Dr. Tapioca Weasel and Nitty sitting around and making fun of bad AI Bible videos, and I very often get really, really drunk. But it is the show, and I'm not kidding. Every Sunday morning, I usually lose 7 to 10 subscribers every single week. It's but I love it. It's a fantastic. It's one of my favorite things that I look forward to whenever we do it. So it's fun. So not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So, and honestly, if I did it every Saturday night, I would probably be dead. So that's that's why.
yeah. All right. Well, yeah, go check that out. You're linked in the title and
Thank you.
description, and Lil put it in the chat there for anybody who isn't subscribed to Dr. Kipp's channel.
If
Go check it out. Lil,
it,
you got some stuff you want to talk about?
Politicality on Thursday. I don't know what I'm doing off and on for the rest of the week. I've got merch that should be coming up this week. It's going to be mine and Seth's merch. So,
Yeah.
That's about it.
Tomorrow is my first day not doing anything in a while, and I will do that or not do that, I guess. And after that, you can catch me Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and next Monday again.
God, that's a lot of
Yeah.
streaming.
Uh,
I don't know how you do it.
this is
You
Yeah.
can come
well,
help me pack. If you're bored,
yeah,
help me
yeah.
pack.
I've only been doing 2 shows a week, and then we added a third one, and then I started doing this stuff, and I think this is like the 7th or 8th day straight that I've done something somewhere. So staying busy, you know. So yeah, I'm easy to find here, the Kentucky Atheist, everywhere else. If you're new here, thanks for coming and watching, everybody. And again, thank you, Dr. Kipp, for your insightful commentary.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yep.
Happy to come back whenever.
Oh yeah, love to have you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we'll do some more. Next time we'll do more of a hangout and have fun stuff, and not have to listen to AIG and things. And we may cover some stuff, but we'll keep it even more lighthearted than it was today. Have fun with it, you know. All right.
Excellent.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.